I'm just going to share my screen.
And this would be the same process in the ONU environment too. You'd be accessing actually a separate instance of the portal, but we do have a process that we're implementing to ensure that those two environments, stay the same. So if there's a change that's sort of been applied in the ONU environment to a specific report, we'd be implementing that same change in the ONU environment. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just briefly go over like our expanse reports. There are not many, dare I say. There's not many at all. So this is our QM and RM module. So we would have reports. And if anyone was part of an email chain that was talking about NPR versus MAT, this would be all of our MAT reports that are kind of tied to quality management. You'll have to forgive that this is test, so there's a bit of testing going on in here. So the idea is that someone who would want to run a report could run it kind of like how you would be doing it in client server now. I know that one of our report writers is working on that one, so I'm not going to try and run it. And the same thing would apply for risk management. As of right now, there hasn't been a lot of requests for reports, which is kind of going back to what Andrea said, where if you want reports, we're willing to build them. We'll just need to know, like, what are you looking for? So that's why we don't see a custom reports menu on our risk management screen as of yet. As far as getting to the data portal, which is an SSRS portal that I know some of the Northwestern sites might be familiar with SSRS reports. Generally speaking, there should be a link to jump you right over to the portal in the reports menu, but this one doesn't have it. You'll have to forgive our test environment. Oh no. Anyway, so what you would expect to see on a reports menu if it was properly set up right now, again, it's all set up in live, but test kind of fell away on this part. So you could just click a link. So that is our SSRS web page launcher. You just click OK, preview, and it will send you over to our data insights portal. So this is what most people see. I see a little bit more, obviously, as I am out there building reports. But the general idea is that each site has control over which users have access to which folder. So if you have someone who needs bar RCG, your local IT would kind of add them to an AD group or an Active Directory group. So it's very specific to what you would want to see. So for example, we're talking about QRM. So all of our reports would live within this QRM folder. So these, I believe, are the list of reports that I sent over. I'm not going to touch these ones because this is the live reports. But we do have the exact same thing in test. So the idea with this test environment here, sorry if I'm clicking too fast, is that every single person can see all of this. It's only pulling from test, but it kind of serves as a self-serving. Sometimes what happens is people don't know what they can't see. So if this allows people to see every single report that is out there that they might have needed access to, but don't otherwise in this main page. So these are our QRM reports. I've opened up a few of them. This is all test data. So what it allows end users to do, what people like to do the most is download these reports. So any of the reports, in this folder, usually the ones that end with details are set up to allow you to download them right into Excel and perform whatever data you would like, or like data analysis that you would like to do. Is there anything specific that we would be looking for in terms of reporting?
Do you want to show the filters that are available? Like when you run
sure.
a report, like which information can you select, date ranges, like facilities? Yeah.
Yeah, so in general, this would be where your parameters are. All of them should have date fields that allows it to perform better, and then it also allows you to find what you need a little bit easier. And everything would be site specific. That's another thing. Thank you, Andrea. Um, so you would only be able to see your site's data or anything that falls kind of in that. Say you have an ambulatory module. So, for example, if I was a user from Health Sciences North, the only thing that would show up on this drop-down menu would be Health Sciences North.
And that would be set up as sort
Yeah,
of the populated as the default.
yeah. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, so yeah, we're a multi-site facility, so we have 4 facilities.
Yep.
So I obviously from the drop down I could pick each of the 4, but is there a way then to roll those all up into a corporate number, like say for falls, if we're looking at falls or medication errors? I would do site specific, but is there a way then that you can have an overarching corporate number?
Possibly it could be. Would the concern be you would just want to see the data aggregated, or you just don't want to have to click for on this drop down?
No,
Because
an
it could.
aggregated data just for
Oh, for
one
sure.
month.
Then, yeah, if that's something that you would want to see. There is an example of a report. Which one is it? This one here. So this one here is actually aggregating the data. Uh, this is actually combined SRH and ambulatory. I had the report writer who made this one make it a little bit more clear what's going on here. But basically what it does is it rolls out like facility specific information, so SRH and then SRH ambulatory, and then it aggregates it at the bottom. So there would definitely be the option to do stuff like that. And it could be not having the side by side breakdown as well. We're open to whatever your needs are.
Okay, so it would be by site or all together. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
I have my hand up, Danielle.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see it.
I don't know, I probably should know this, but is there a way to schedule these reports to automatically run and be generated or emailed or downloaded somewhere like on a regular basis? And I don't know if that's even a requirement of this.
There
You know.
is a way. We try to avoid it where possible. The idea being that this product is like kind of self-service. You can go in whenever you want. But I know that there are a lot of people who do like to schedule stuff. So as long as it's on, like, we're trying to avoid peak hours, so off hours and like stuff that's too regular or it's pulling a lot of data
Okay.
is kind of the thing.
Thank you.
And I think there was also a question at one point, like, are these reports timely? Yep, they pull from a copy of the expansed data, like the repository directly. So A, they won't have an impact on the expanse performance, and then B, it's basically near real-time data.
So when we asked about filters and how you can drill
Yep.
down into them,
Yep.
so I see at the top, obviously you can search and by a certain um, date range.
Yep.
But for certain events, like say a medication event, like I'm
Mhm.
not sure what's all in it. If then can you drill in to know if it was a high alert drug or more details or what the type of the error was? It an omission or the wrong drug, wrong patient? Like how much more can you drill into detail?
So basically how I see it is anything that would be put into Expanse we can pull. So I can't actually speak to whether as long as that information is put into a QRM report, it can be tweaked in this tool. So like for example, if you were talking, well, like say for example, if this field was put into Expanse and it was saying, okay, this is a high risk drug, we would be able to add that filter in here, no problem. The idea behind all of the reports is that they are regional, so we do build them with the idea that any site can use them for their own specific data. In some cases, if certain sites are using specific queries that others aren't, then that just might show up as empty, or we'll have to look at that specific case. But if the information is in Expanse, generally speaking, it can be pulled.
And so the East is using this and has been for a bit, so they must have reports built already, would they not? Or like, will we just get access to those that they
Yeah.
already have built?
So the intention would be that you'd have access to all of these reports that are already in this folder. So we're going to be setting up a duplicate environment for ONU, and you would have access to the exact same reports. We're going to keep them as similar or as in sync, if you will, as possible, just to keep it easy for our DART team, like the data analytics and reporting team. But yeah, you would have access to these.
So I just see on here, different medication ones, the
Yep.
complaints. Is there nothing on falls or behaviors or workplace violence?
We do have fall reports. I just don't believe, I don't know where. See, this is more coming from PCS, so it's coming from like fall risk assessments. The same one. Let's just see. This is test. I don't know if this is pulling from the QRM module.
So I think I can jump in. It's Chris
Oh,
from
please.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's okay, Danielle. So I support the QRM module for One Hits, and I support the regional work group. And one of the primary focuses of our work group is report development. So you are correct. There really is not a lot of reports that have been built. Focus was to go live with the system, and reports are something that we're focusing on working on. What folks are doing is with this, you can download into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can filter your data through, filter, analyze, manipulate your data, build dashboards through Excel. So what the report really does is we tell it what queries, essentially what queries or what fields we want it to pull from Expanse. And then any manipulation is done outside of it, usually in Excel or something like that. But to answer your question, like what you see is what we have, but we are working all the time on building new reports as people make requests on things that they want to see.
Thank you, Chris.
This is much more useful than some of the reports we pull out of Expanse, just because you can pull these different formats out. So hopefully that clarifies it a bit.
Yeah. And one avenue actually is if people are doing consistently the same manipulations in Expanse or in Excel, sorry, that could be something we could look at in terms of building reports.
So let me just so I'm getting this correct. So the working group would, as a group, regional group or whatever, we would talk about what reports we'd want, and they would help kind of get built in the system as we determine, because I'm sure every hospital tracks the same patient safety indicators and stuff. I'm sure we're all reporting falls and med errors and workplace violence, and I can't imagine that we're all not doing similar data collection.
Yep, that's correct. We as a group come up with the reports and what we want on the reports, and then a request goes into the DART team, and we work with them on creating the reports or updating them if we need to update one or change it. But that work is done with our, I think, 20 sites that are live with QRM. And it's one of our focuses, and we talk about it. We meet monthly and we talk about reports every month. And we've got 2 or 3 sort of in the queue being built right now.
So once the report is there, then just so I'm hearing this correctly, then it's extracted to Excel, and then each site is responsible for manipulating the data themselves. There's no nice final little report that gives you the numbers you're looking for, or we have to do that ourselves by
Yeah,
manipulating.
that's
Excel.
correct. Although Danielle, maybe you could correct, or Andrea, like I think there's some work around dashboards being done. But I'm not, regional dashboards, but I'm not sure, no details on that. But I do know some of our sites, have created, they have like decision support or whoever create dashboards for them.
That's definitely happening for some of the bigger sites. Uh, I think you're right. Everyone's kind of reporting the same numbers. Some sites just might be doing their own individual like trending or sort of like funding cases, for example. But I do think there's always room for improvement, kind of like if the team is meeting regularly, I think good reports will come out of that. Like what, yeah, I guess I guess the question will end up being what are the numbers that you're looking for and can we pull them out neatly into a nice report for you? I think we'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
And
thank you.
there is an alternate way within Expanse to pull some high level data. Like if you just want to know number of falls by quarter, per location, etc., you can do that. It's just a little more of a manual process, unfortunately.
With the statistical desktop, right?
Yeah, statistics desktop. Yeah, it's just a bit clunky, but you can pull that. That's actually how many people will pull stats for their quality care committees, etc., is through that, but it's just a little more manual, that's all.
And is the same then for like on the employee side of say injury or Sharps injuries, workplace violence, all the same kind of thing? They're either there or they'd have to be built.
Correct.
Okay.
Is QRM actually in scope for the Wave 3 project?
Only the surveillance is right now,
Okay.
and that's what we're looking at is the incident management. And depending on the outcome of this discussions and the demos, then a change request would be going forward.
Okay. Thanks.
Would there be additional costs included with that change request, or they would still just be part of the project?
I went to the chat. Who's asking that question? Cindy, was that you?
Yes.
So there will be a cost, and One Hits is looking at that right now. It's the resourcing to be working with the sites to do the build and support. We don't know that cost yet, Cindy, but that's in the works.
And what do you use now for incident reporting? Is it a third-party system?
Yes, here at Riverside, we use, it's from CCD Systems. It's called Adverse Events Management Reporting.
Okay.
Any other questions about the reporting? Or things you would like to see?
These are our options.
Yeah, the ones that are there, or as Chris said, as long as it's being entered in the incident management report, then there's the option to request to have more customized reports available.
Are there, excuse me, are there some already developed on the employee incident side? These seem to be more patient events, but are there some already done?
I don't believe so, no.
No, I did not see any. But that's a good thing to add to the list, I imagine.
Employee incident?
Do any of the sites in the east use it then for the employee incidents?
Most do. HSN incidentally isn't, but are considering it. But I believe most of the sites who are live with the module are using employee incidents.
Okay.
So the system that users are using every day is where they enter the incidents. So that's why people really like the risk module. So do you want to show how to enter, how a user would enter an incident?
So do you want to go ahead and speak? I can mute and I'll take the steps.
Yeah, you can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so so when a user decides to enter an incident, you'll see there's three basically populations. So we have patient incidents, non-patient incidents, and employee. Patient incidents are always tied to a patient identifier, like an account number, MRN, etc. Non-patients are not tied to any patient account, and employee are tied to employees. There are two types of employee incidents that can be entered. So we have what's called our employee incident report form, and that is when an employee, let's say, gets injured at work. That is the type of incident that they would enter. The other is a hazard reporting form, and that is to report workplace hazards. So if a staff member notices something unsafe, like spill in a hallway, they could enter that hazard under there. But both are tied to the employee, and that's why these are entered here. Sorry, I see there's a hand up.
Yeah, Cindy has a question.
Yeah, just when you talked about how the patient ones are tied to the MRN and employees are, what's an employee tied to? Like,
So
does
that's what
interface
that's what I'm just about to explain. So the employees are entered into the system. The way it currently works is that it actually pulls from the payroll module. So if you're using the payroll module, those employees, when they're entered into that, are automatically available to enter incidents. If you don't have the payroll module, so for example, we have a couple sites that don't, there is a way to get the employees in this dictionary, but it's a more manual process that is done with help from Meditech. But what that does, having the employees in there, is that when a user goes to enter an employee incident, it actually automatically populates their name, and that incident is tied to their name.
So when you say payroll module, you mean a Meditech payroll module?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
I'm not sure, sorry, not knowing the scope of Wave 3, I'm not sure if that's something in the works, but that is currently how those employees get populated in there. Like I said, there's a manual way that they can be, but that's done through Meditech.
okay.
Maria
Chris?
has her hand up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to update, payroll is not in scope here,
Okay.
so we would have to do the manual updates of the employees here in this case.
Okay, so an employee, let's say an employee's been injured at work, they would click on the employee incident report form. And then they would pick an event code, and these event codes are something which allows you to be more specific about the incident that you're entering. And so the user would select the most appropriate one. Now, what I will explain is that because Shiva and I have, we have greater access rules for this. So for the end users, so that would be any staff at your hospital who aren't considered in risk management as a manager or a risk manager. They're what we call end users. So that is your general staff. their name will populate automatically in that identifier. They don't have to look anything up. And the other safeguard that we have is they cannot look up or enter incidents for any other employees. Managers and risk managers can enter employee incidents on behalf of another user, but end users, so your general staff, housekeepers, etc., can only enter an incident for themselves. But because of our access, it doesn't work like that. So Sheba was able to find herself. And this is what the incident report looked like. You'll notice there's an event code CDS. So certain types of event codes have more specific information that a user can enter. And you'll see if they have a star beside them, it means that they are mandatory fields. So the user cannot submit the incident until they complete these fields. And so these are specific to the event type. So obviously if it was a burn, you wouldn't have fall details. And the system's pretty good about letting a user know that which mandatory fields they haven't completed. Again, it won't let them submit the incident. What I want to be clear about, Sheba, can you minimize the rest of that incident? So, and again, because Sheba and I are in as risk managers, you see a different, you see more on the incident report than an end user would. So what we've tried to do for end users, which just to reiterate is your general staff, they have a very simple version of the incident report because we want to make sure if they're really long and they have a lot of things to enter, they're less likely to do that. So this is all that the end user would see. There's some other fields below, but that's just because of Sheba's access that she's seeing those. Those are fields that a manager or risk manager would see. So they would just fill out the incident details. Again, you'll see that certain queries are starred, which means they're mandatory, and those are all agreed upon. We agree upon those regionally, so those are standard across the board. This section, manager referrals, is actually unique to employee incidents. Normally only managers and risk managers see these, but what this allows the user to do is to, if their manager doesn't show up there, so let's say they had an injury in a unit that they don't work on, they could be floating or something and they don't see their manager there, they can add their manager and that way they get notified of the incident. Candace?
You're gonna.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the end user.
Oh, something happened, Candace.
Did turn on.
You're muted now.
Oh,
Now try.
I think I'm on Cindy's now.
yeah, you have no mute there at all.
No, but can you hear her? Say something.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the end user, are they able to, like the entries that they make, are they all the information that you would need when you're inputting a WSIB?
Yeah, so the end user is really just entering information directly related to the incident that occurred. These were all developed approved regionally, so everybody agreed on what needed to be in here. What you'll see is when we show you what a manager and risk manager sees, you'll see there's more detailed information that can be put in regarding reporting to WSIB, etc. What we really wanted to do was keep the incident reports as simple as possible for the end users to encourage them to enter them, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And we really try to be careful about what we make mandatory, because mandatory fields frustrate people too, because they can't submit the incident until they're done. So we really try to be thoughtful about what we make mandatory, but obviously if it's information you have to have, we make it mandatory. Okay, and then she's submitting it. And then what do you want to go in and show? So let's say that Sheba was the manager and got notified of this incident. It would show up on her work list in what we call the incident management desktop, and that's where managers do the majority of their work. The risk management system works on what's called a referral system. And that's the manager referrals that I was talking about. And we can set up what are called referral rules for each user. So we can set up custom referral rules. So let's say the manager of the OR, we can set up custom referral rules so that you would get all incidents that occur in the location, all incidents, related to surgical care. We can really drill down in those referrals, and that way that whenever an incident is submitted, that manager automatically gets notified of that by email, and then they know to go in and look at the incident. And so you'll see if Sheba opens this, let's say Sheba's the manager and gets, so can you edit the, and if you scroll down, you'll see now she sees this manager resolution and outcome section. And this is where the manager can go in and add some more information about the follow-up. You can refer these to other managers. So let's say you also wanted the manager of laboratory to view this because it was related to the lab. You can manually refer that manager, and then they can go in and they can look at the incident and then enter a statement. So they can say, I've reviewed the incident. There's nothing further for me to do. And so that's a way to send these incidents to other managers. And so often with the employee incidents, the occupational health will be the one getting these and the one following up on these. So we would set up those referral rules that I talked about so that they are receiving the notifications of these. Cindy?
Okay, so the complex one that happens all the time is patient workplace violence or an aggressive behavior. They've slapped a staff member or scratched them. So it's a patient incident, it's a behavior patient incident, but now it's also an employee incident. Does that pull over? Do the two link somehow, or
no?
What happens in that scenario?
We can link two incidents, but they do not. The user, unfortunately, would have to enter two incidents. There isn't a way to have one copy. I know exactly what you're asking, but no, it doesn't unfortunately work that way. The manager can go in and link the two incidents. There is a way to where it essentially references the other incident, but none of the information carries over.
Okay, that's too bad.
Yeah, that would be nice, but no, it doesn't function like that.
So this is the one for disruptive behavior, but then it's coming under employee and they have to enter another one for the patient.
Yeah, usually what the workflow would be is that they would enter, patient aggression, some sort of incident, and then if they unfortunately were injured or something, then they would enter an employee one as well.
Okay. Can you drag information or copy and paste from one into the other?
Yeah, you can copy.
Yeah, you can copy like text. So if you had like an explanation about like a description of what happened, you could copy and paste that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You can also add attachments, so you can add like what I know some people have done is they will print out the incident and then attach it to the other incident, like as a PDF or something. You can do that.
So
And then do you want to quickly, Sheba, show the employee hazard?
yes, so this is where you would attach a document if you want to attach, and if it's a larger file.
There is things we can do, not specific to employee incidents, but we can also pull in formatted data. So one example is with falls. It will pull in the post-falls assessment if that was completed by PCS. It will pull that right into the incident report. So there are things that we can do to pull data in from the EMR. And so these are the hazards. So if there was a sharps container that was way overfilled, bursting at the seams, a user could enter a hazard. We've actually most recently changed it to hazard, good catch, or near miss, because we have a few sites that are doing some good catch campaigns and they're trying to encourage that. This used to just be called employee hazard reporting, but actually users found that a bit confusing between that and the employee incident. So we've actually just recently changed the name of it to hazard, good catch, near miss, and some sites are finding some success with having good catches. Like, we want good catches to be submitted as well. Yeah, so like that's a hazard. That's what an end user would see, something really simple there. And they could submit that. If you want to exit out of there as well, Sheba, I'll just mention one more thing sort of around workplace safety. You can just cancel out of this and go back to submitting an incident. And go to non-patient and pick workplace hazard inspection form. Or workplace inspection form. So this is something that was built for when people are doing safety walkabouts, like if you do monthly safety walkabouts of a unit, etc. We have built a workplace inspection form. It's under non-patient because it's not tied to anything. But we have a few sites that are using this for their workplace safety inspections, and it allows them, the user, to go in and you can add 10 things, and then the manager will have to action all of those items. So that's just another workplace safety feature, but that is outside of the employee section.
Yeah, and also we also have monthly department inspection that.
Correct. Yeah, sorry, monthly department inspection as well. Yeah. Yeah, so that's sort of how employee incidents work.
And just to answer one of the question that you had about the false data, if you don't have a dashboard, if you don't have much information, you can still pull that information from instant management and instant criteria. And here you can actually drill down high level information. And for example, you just want to see from 1st Jan till today, and you can look at a specific thing, include. So if there is any instance, it will pull that information. You can't really pull it to a report, but then it gives you high level information about the numbers that you're looking for. And statistics desktop is another place that while I worked at Area Hospital, our workplace officer used to use that. So
Okay,
if you
sorry, where you were there when all those came up, was
Yeah.
there a way then that showed the total?
yes, it showed the
Is that how
total.
is that how you'd get your, say, monthly data? Just do it.
Yes.
No, I would use the statistics desktop.
Yeah,
Sheba,
statistic
to do
desktop
that.
would
That
be, yeah,
that's more useful because you can filter by so you could show falls by location. Like so if you go to run, and you could just do patient. No, just yeah. Sorry, just do patient. Yeah. And so there you can see falls. You can drill down there with location, cause, type of fall, shift, so you can do it by shift. So, and again, though, this is pretty high level. It really just gives you the numbers. You can go into, if you click one of those sections and so then it just requires a bit of manual. So some sites are using this. You can pull high level data to give a falls report at your quarterly quality meeting or something is a quick way to do that. But ideally, we'll be building a more detailed report for falls.
Okay, thank you.
welcome.
I know that like within one hits, we do have a scorecard that we're using ourselves. Like was it this one? Yeah, I think that's something more in progress.
Sorry,
Yeah.
where you just had it with all of those. When I first saw it, it wasn't that screen. It just had like
Oh.
two rows and a cross. It wasn't.
It wasn't
That
like
whole-
this website at all, or was
Oh
it?
yeah. No, it was there. It just wasn't that screen you just had that had like all the blue tiles.
Oh, maybe
It
it's
was
in
shorter.
text. There it is.
Oh,
This
you
one,
clicked
eh?
fast. Yeah,
Sorry.
maybe. Yeah.
I tend to do that. I think this is something that we're trialing, and I think this might be an internal scorecard. We're looking at like adapting to Power BI. Yeah, this has to do with our service desk.
So that's something like that is what our senior team wants to see. They want to be
For
able to see a
sure.
scorecard and a dashboard, and they want to be able to click in and see how many workplace violence have we had this like,
For
right
sure.
now, or so if that's coming, that's reassuring
That-
as well.
Is definitely something in the pipeline, and I do know that if you use like data decision support through Thunder Bay, they also will have access to the data repository. So in talking to them, they do sound like they want to make some dashboards as well. So if we're all kind of not to anyway, yeah, we're heading that direction. It's just a lot of work in progress right now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
No problem.
So we're just about at time. Thanks Danielle and Chris and Sheba for the demos and the questions.
Yes,
I
thank you
will,
for, thank you for having a
And-
session again. I know we have a lot of questions. My senior team has a lot of questions about all of this. So appreciate the extra time spent to help us through that.
Yep, thanks, and Maria for coordinating this and working with the team to get the answers back to you as well.
No problem.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks. Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks.